2019. I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas and a great New Year. We're super excited at Fat Quarter Shop. I'm super excited because I have a ton of content for all of our live streams and lots of new videos coming up. So this one might get a little bit long. I wanted to start off with a December Sew Sampler box reveal. I'm going to start doing these on the live stream. If any of you don't know about our Sew Sampler program, you can just go to Fat Quarter Shop's website and search Sew Sampler and it will have all the information. So I'm going to show you our December box. This is what you can make from your December box. And I wanted to let you know that we always listen to feedback. We have a survey that we send out at the end of every box, and we listen to all the feedback. And one of the most requested items was a tote bag. So this is for all the people who requested a tote bag. So when you open it, of course, super cute stuff. We always have a coupon on the back. So don't forget, if you're a member, to look on the back of that. And then in each of the boxes, we have a little band card that explains everything in there. So the first thing we'll start with is our bag kit. So this is Woodland Rose by Jared Brandevig for Lucian. And it uses 2 mini charm packs. And then we've got the background fabric here and then some of the background fabric for the bag. It's basically 2 quilt blocks. And there's a bag. There's instructions on how you can put the bag together. It comes with this pattern. The only thing you need to add if you wanted to make the bag was the muslin, and then either batting or soft and stable, and then if you wanted to put strapping underneath your handles. So kind of like all-in-one. Sometimes we have all the fabric for the entire project, sometimes we don't. We kind of change it up. All of the patterns that you're going to receive in here are thoroughly tested, wonderfully done color photos. And then we have a postcard in here about our Threadology quilt along. We'll talk about that more in a second. We're trying to raise $20,000 for Make-A-Wish. We've already raised $1,000, so we're 11% there, and we're already in January, so I'm super pumped about that. Last year we raised $14,000, so we really want to get to $20,000 this year. And I want to let you know the backing sets are now officially sold out. We cannot make more. The kits will probably be sold out by the end of January. So if that's something you're interested in, check it out. We have these wonderful tweezers by Tula Pink. They have been the most popular item in the box. They're just really cool. It's kind of like a stiletto you can use when you're piecing. You can kind of, if you need to get gunk out of your machine, is probably what I would use it for, or you can use it to push items through your machine when it might be tough. So that is an item in there.
They're like rainbowy.
Yeah, they're very iridescent and rainbowy. And then we've got some scissors. They're by Jared Brandevig and they're super cute. They are meant to coordinate with her fabric. And then we put in a beautiful Aurifil Aqua. We put it in so that if you were interested in accent quilting or maybe some accent lines on your bag, you would have something that automatically matched. And then we also have our barn block in here. This is a pattern. And we are on block 9. We do 12 a year. And so at the end, when you get to block 12, you will also get a finishing pattern. And so this is just a bonus thing. If you want to sew along with us, great. If you don't, you don't have to. So that's our box. We got lots of love on this one. I'm very happy about the results of this box. Everyone's bags look wonderful in my Kimberly Stitch Squad. I've seen so many of them, so I'm like so proud of everyone for like making the bags, because to me this is like totally stepping out of someone, well, for me, I can only speak for me, but making this would be totally out of my comfort zone. So just because it's not the norm, it's not what I normally do, and so I was a little bit scared of putting it in a box and then having people complain, oh, it's too hard. And so I'm like so happy and excited that everyone's making their bag, and I think the fabric is fabulous. Yeah. So
We've got a few questions about Sew Sampler.
Yes.
Let's see. So first of all, someone was asking, what box are you showing?
I'm showing December 2018, and so I'm going to be doing that at the. They ship earlier in the month. That gives. It ships around the 10th, I believe. I hope I'm right. But I'm giving about 20 days so that on the beginning of the next month I can show you what's in it. If you still want a December box, contact customer service. You have to be a subscriber. You can't say, oh, I just want the December box, because we really curate these only for our members. You can call us or email us at service@fatquartershop.com, and as of this morning we have 80 left. So I don't know how long those will last. Basically, we package up a certain number, and then once they're done, they're done. We don't like go back and make more.
And Renee Bryan Castle was asking, how much are the boxes?
I don't know.
It's
I
can look it up.
Yeah. Lily will look it up. I don't remember.
Pretty sure it's $24.95 a month plus shipping.
Yeah, $24.95 a month plus shipping. And we have a very detailed, all the information on our site if you search Sew Sampler.
And then Julie was asking, how do you get the box? I am new to this.
So you sign up. It's like a club. It's kind of like Birchbox or Glossy Box. It's just like a quilting subscription box. So you just sign up on our website, and you sign up, and then once you sign up, you will start getting them the following month, unless you want that month, and we still have some available. And then you can cancel anytime. Of course, we have tons of people who have been in this since the very beginning, which we're coming up on our 2nd anniversary in April. And we will have a special April box.
Woo. Also, Selena Spencer wanted to clarify for us, it ships on the 20th.
20th! Oh my gosh, yes. See, I knew I was wrong.
And then also when you call to ask, like if you want the December box and you call customer service, you do have to sign up for Sew Sampler.
Yes.
Just like you call and buy the box.
Right.
Okay, I think that's all we had for the box. Teresa, one of our YouTube members, also says she hopes you and I are feeling better today.
We're feeling better. I will say not 100%. After I got off the live stream, I went to the doctor and they said I could have bronchitis. So who knows? But I'm sticking in there. Lily's doing a little bit better. She's not like sneezing and coughing, but she does need to go to the doctor. I need to be her mother and make her go to the doctor. So yeah, thanks for carrying this. And I wanted to show how cute this is. This fits the Sew Sampler box perfectly, so you can just like carry around your Sew Sampler box. So I'll put that over here, and then I have something I've been working on and really super excited to share with you guys. Jocelyn came up with this idea for us, and I think it's wonderful. So one of the things that I talk about on the live stream, and a lot of you talk about on YouTube or Facebook or just everywhere, is when you're done with a project, what do you do with all the leftovers? And one of the things that I've always said is I only buy exactly what I need. That's great. So I thought, well, even for me, what can I do with mine? So, you know, I love triangles on a roll triangle paper. So I decided we would use, and you can use whatever size you want, but this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna call this Patchwork Pinwheels. Sorry, I had to make sure that was right. So hashtag Patchwork Pinwheels. We're going to do this all for 2019, and I hope all of you guys sew along with me. So what we're going to do is we're going to make some tiny 2-inch finished pinwheel blocks with our leftovers. So, and then at the end of the year, you will have all the different types of colors from all of your quilts. So, for example, this is leftover from my Christmas tree skirt that I showed you guys. These are left over from 2019 Designer Mystery. So I'm going to walk you through what I'm doing and how to do this, and I hope some of you guys start this. And at the end of the year, the concept is at the end of 2019, you sew them all together into whatever size quilt it comes to. It could be a Tablerunner, it could be this ginormous quilt. You can just lay it on the quilt, move your fabrics around, and then you have like a memory of what you made that year and what kind of colors did you use. Oh, I used creams a little bit, or did I use all whites? But you can just like mix it all together and it'll look great. So you're going to start with H100, which is triangles on a roll paper that is finished at 1-inch squares. And what I do is I go ahead and cut a bunch of squares at one time. I do all of this kind of all at one time. So I'm gonna just cut every 2 rows. And if I was doing this at home, I would just keep going. I would just make a bunch. To seal it up, I use washi tape at the end. And then you're gonna cut those in half. So you're gonna have little sections of 4. And so when I started mine, I literally just cut like 20 or 30 of these sections up. You do it all at one time and it makes it kind of like a assembly line type thing. So you have your squares. I want to show you, when you're cutting these squares, it is much better for them to come out like an X rather than a circle. Because when you're sewing here, you have to go, pivot, stitch, pivot, you know. Here you can just sew 2 lines, stop, 2 lines. So I tried to make all of mine like this. And then they are, because these are small, they get kind of like this. You can, I'm fine with it like that, but if you want, you can just put your ruler on it overnight and it'll be fine the next day. So I went ahead and you can see I didn't cut down my fabrics in terms of like an exact size. I just used leftovers. So you can see I've got salvages. You want to put your 2 fabrics right sides together. That's the biggest thing that when I was a beginner I wouldn't do. And I just pinned twice on top. And you can see I've already done all of these. I went ahead and stitched these, and this is how I would do it. This is how I did do it. I just sit at my machine, have them all pinned, and just do a big stack all at once. So I'll show you how I stitched these at my sewing machine. You want to lower your stitch length. I like to have mine around 1.0, so sorry. 1.2 or 1.3, just super, a super skinny stitch length. You're gonna stitch on the dotted line. It is important to stay on the dotted line as much as you can. But I do go really fast. And like I said, if you have a stack of 20 of these, you can just whip this out in no time at all. So I'm not sure how many seconds that was, but it definitely wasn't a full minute. Do y'all want to know something really funny? I have red thread in my bobbin. For some reason, I wonder what I was working on that I have a red thread in my bobbin. That's great. You don't want to have a red thread in your bobbin, but that's hilarious that I have a red thread in my bobbin. So I just did that really fast and then ruined my thing, but that's okay. That's funny. I think it's funny. So you're going to take that and I'm gonna cut these down. I'm just gonna show you how I did one, but kind of like I said, I would stitch all these together, then I would cut all these together, I would press all these together, and then sew the next step all together because it saves time. I probably did all of these in like an hour or 2. So I like to use a square ruler when I'm doing this because I can cut twice. I can cut on each side. So got that cut. Now what you will do is you will cut on you've stitched on your dotted lines. You can see my really tiny stitch. I have a tiny stitch so that the paper will pull off easier. I like triangles on a roll because I feel like the paper is perfect way to pull off. Sometimes if you get triangle paper that's too thick, when you pull your paper off, you pull your stitches out. So it is good to be very careful when you're cutting these straight lines. And then you cut on the diagonal. The diagonal doesn't have to be perfect because these are within your seam allowance. So I've got that done. Now I'm going to pull my paper off. I usually put my thumb kind of at the tip and then I just yank it off. And it seems to come off good. If that doesn't work for you, you can push down and then pull. Another person that I know has said one time, you can, it's not something I do, you can take because I use steam, but if you don't use steam, you could just set your iron on top of the paper. It makes it kind of crisp and will pull off easier. So those are 3 ways that you can make your paper pull off easier. Sorry, I'm drinking tea up my throat. It's a little hard for me to talk. So from each of these, you're going to be able to make 2 little pinwheel blocks. So I'm going to get all my paper off, and then we're going to iron these. I press towards the dark. And I kind of keep notes. Like, I have a little box. I'm going to keep this box all year. I might have to go to a taller one if I have a ton of, once I get more, but I'm keeping kind of notes, like this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm working with, keeping it all together so that it becomes a project that's easy for me to just pick up and keep going rather than having to stop, go back, watch a video. Just keep my notes. And then it becomes a project that's super easy rather than tedious. So I'm going to press. I like to press my seams, set my seams, by just pressing these flat, and then I'm going to press to the darker side. On this at the end, we'll talk about how I plan to get all the seams to nest at the end. We're going to talk about that today. But if it's kind of tedious, if it's not something that you think you will enjoy, you can always press open. Since you've already done a smaller stitch length, it would be fine to press open. And I haven't used my iron in like 2 weeks, so it feels good to... I got up early this morning and got a lot of stuff starched so that after my live stream I can go ahead and get caught up on some stuff. So now you've got some little dog ears, thingy-majiggies. I'm just going to cut those off. I always have this little bowl. I've had it a couple years in my sewing room. And my kids like to come in and dump it in the trash can. They're actually watching. Two of my kids could care less. One of them might be asleep, she might be awake. If she's awake, she'll comment. The other one is sitting on the couch watching. I know he's watching. So he will probably come in right after this and dump it. But he's the one that, he's my little helper.
Apparently, Vicky is watching in Australia and it's midnight there.
Oh, well that's good. At least you're awake. Thanks for watching. So now what I'm going to do is just go to my sewing machine. I'm going to change my foot. Before I was just using a toe. It's not called an open toe foot, but it's what I call it. It's just a, you know, you can see through it. So that's that if you need to see it. And then I'm going to move to a 1/4 inch foot. A lot of people who have like fancy Berninas don't have to do that. I like to use these little leader and enders, so I'm just gonna like kind of start so it saves my thread, and then I'm gonna go to a normal stitch length. I use about a 1.8 or 2, and then I've got just as a guide, I have one that I've already made, And this is how I've been doing it, and I just lay it on my table. So I'm gonna lay my next ones out by following it. Because if I tried to memorize this pattern, which I'm sure some of you guys can do, I'm certain I would mess it up. So, so each of these little sections makes 2 of these little blocks. And if you have, you know, a ton of fabric left over, you can use it in more than 1 block. For example, I had some gray dot, which is actually from a different project, but I used it in 2. Or had this dot. So, you know, you can just make however many you want. Some of them have a background that's not so much a background, more of a medium. So I'm just gonna double check I have them laid out correctly. And if I was doing this for real, I would have them all over the table. So I think they're right. And I'm gonna chain piece, so these are pretty small. So I'm just gonna make sure they nest by kind of pushing it here. You can use a pin, but I don't think you need to because it's small enough to where it's gonna stay in place. So I'm gonna stitch down, you know, leave a little bit of space between the 2, but just keep stitching. This saves thread, and mainly it saves time, which I'm all about saving time. So, and maybe we can have a day where I just sit and do these or something on my YouTube member, where I could just sit and maybe, I could just sit and, oh, yeah, my thread for my bobbin didn't come through, so we gotta redo that, which is okay. This is real life. This is what happens in real life, and not sure.
Oh, Gina's watching.
Hi, Gina. Gina showed some pins yesterday on a YouTube channel that I'd never even heard of. So we ordered them. So thanks for that, because I didn't even know. Okay, so now I'm gonna look again and just make sure that they're, because I can tell that I've got them. Just move them a little bit. Yeah, this is, I think this is kind of what you get when you're like half sick. But let's say we'll start over. And but yeah, I think it would be a great idea if y'all want to see that. If you're a YouTube member, you can just put in the community tab you're interested in that or not. It would basically be just me just doing just showing you kind of how I do it. To me, that would be totally boring. I wouldn't watch that. But you guys might want to. You've asked to do like kind of like a sewing along with me, and that's kind of a version of that. So I'm gonna move that ender down, and then I'm gonna cut them apart between the 2, and I'm gonna press. Now this is where you can do this however you want, and I'll talk about this more in the how I'm gonna lay mine out and do mine. But I'm just gonna press towards the darker piece. So I'll press that way. And then here I will press this way. So maybe you can see. Let me press it, and then then you can see. But there's really no perfect answer to this. You can really do whatever you want. But I do leave the chains together when I'm pressing, so that when I go back I don't have to lay them out again. So I've pressed towards that darker pink. So now I'm just gonna go and I do double check that I have them right, because I can't tell you how many times I come here and I don't. I will clip this little section now, put them together. I do a little poke-a-pin is what I call it. I put my pin and the very point of the back, and then to the point of the next one, and then it comes through. I just kind of hold that there and put the pin back in. I will pin at the end also, so I've got it pinned twice. Excuse me. And then I'm gonna sew. I remove my pen before I sew over it, but sometimes I do sew over it. I have a lot of friends who sew over pins. I say do whatever you want. People ask a lot in my Kimberly Stitch Squad what pins I use. I use C103. I lose them a lot, so I do have to replace them every now and then. Or I bend them, or... So when I get to the end of that, I'm just gonna stitch. Now, I'm gonna make sure my points match, which luckily that worked, and that worked. If it didn't, I would unpick kind of the center, repin it, and go. Now I'm gonna just press at this point wherever, there's no rhyme or reason here. At this point, I'm just gonna press. And my iron is out of water or steam, I guess. So it's not getting as flat as it normally would, but I'm not gonna stop and do that. So now I've got some pinwheels. So I'm gonna kind of show you, put this in here, make a little, this is just theoretical. So say it's the end of the year, at the end of the year we're gonna really do this, but if you wanted to do this as you went or something, but I would recommend waiting until you're all the way done. This is when it's great to have a design wall. I don't have one, but this is where I would probably just get a couple of my kids to come in and just start laying them out, and then I could get on the floor after that and move them around. But I'm just gonna pretend that we're gonna make like a 12 patch. And obviously you'll have a lot more colors at the end of the year, a lot more variety, so it will look better. I'm just doing this so I can show you how I'm gonna do my seams. So, literally I'm just gonna get it the way I like it. And then I'm gonna just look and say, okay, that seam is gonna work, great, lay it back down. That seam's gonna work, great, lay it back down. That seam's gonna work, great, lay it back down. Then I'm gonna go this way and say, that doesn't work because it's not the right way, and I just turn it until it works, great, lay it back down. This is a lot of tedious work. So I'm gonna make sure that works, and then I'm gonna go over here and, oh, that doesn't work, so then I need to flip it. So you can sew these in sections, but that's literally how at the end of the year I'm going to do it. I'm gonna lay them, and I'll probably do them in sections of 3x3 or 4x4 once I have it all laid out. And then I would just make sure they all work, and then I would chain piece down, press, and I'll show more of that later, but I guess what I'm trying to say is it doesn't really matter your pressing. Just press it however you want, and then at the end of the year, you can just start laying them out just like that. I know it's a pain, and people will probably say, oh, that's a lot of extra work. It is, but it will make it look really nice and flat. You're working with really tiny pieces, so it'll look really nice at the end of the year. So let me know if you have any questions right now on the Patchwork Pinwheels, and we're gonna go over that, and I'm super excited. I hope all of you are super excited. I think it's a brilliant idea. I'm super happy that Jocelyn came up with it. I think it's a great way to share. Also, just what is your color? Like maybe at the end of the year, you're gonna look at it and say, oh my gosh, I used so much red. 2019 was my red, that was my color of the year. Or I think it also just helps you see like, what is your color combo? Is it half reproduction, half, primitive, or is it half, I don't know. I think it's just going to show you what colors you really are drawn to and really use.
All right, the first question we had was, where do you get the paper pattern that you're showing?
Okay, so this is called H100. I sell it at Fat Quarter Shop. Lily will link it below. I made sure we have a lot of this in stock. It's a very inexpensive product. I don't remember exactly how much it is, but one roll will make a ton. And all that information is on our site, how many it makes. So this will last a long time. This is has been used for a long time, so this is probably half the roll.
And then on YouTube, Sean Wright was asking, so 12 patch all pinwheels? Or?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do all pinwheels.
Okay.
I'm gonna just do all pinwheels, and I'm hoping at the end of the year that I have a huge quilt. And I think it'll look great just with like when you quilt it, I'm envisioning Gina maybe doing stippling all over it, just kind of like a classic look. I can't remember, what was the word Kate was using yesterday? Kate used a word and called it, I can't remember the word because I didn't know what it was.
Crumb quilt.
Crumb quilt. So maybe it'd be like a crumb quilt, or like a postage stamp quilt is just with little squares, but just something where, and at the end, if you have a ton of fabric left over, you don't have to just make one. I mean, 4, you can pull that roll out and do, if you have a big strip, you can do a big strip. I just had little pieces left over, so this is kind of, this was designer mystery, so these were kind of the sections that worked for me. But you can be creative, you can do whatever you want. You can even mix up your pinwheels if you wanted them to have 4 different colors. You have the freedom to do whatever. I just think it's a great way to really, since we're starting off the year, really remember what we did this year. And I obviously used some of my fabrics from 2018 because I had to get ready for this. But I think it's going to be great. I cannot wait to see what everybody makes. I love seeing all of you guys quilt.
And we had a few questions about leaders and enders.
Okay.
First, if you could kind of explain the concept again, and also if you do it when you're doing regular quilt blocks.
I do it all the time. So this is a scrap. It is left over from a little piece. I can sometimes pull them from my little bucket. This is where I would get them. So this is my little bucket of half square triangle paper that I used, that I left over. Okay, well there, I would probably just cut this in half, and this would be a leader and an ender. So I use it, it could be 1 fabric, it could be 2 fabrics, it's just leftover scraps. I feed it in my machine, and what it is supposed to do is make sure that you don't have threads that maybe unravel or look messy on your block, or sometimes your thread comes undone. I mean, I should have caught that my bobbin thread hadn't pulled up, but I didn't. It's kind of that kind of thing, but it saves thread, but mainly it saves time because you can just keep going. If I do that members only YouTube where I'll show you how you can do it without leaders and enders, which is I would just kind of get up and alternate kind of what I'm doing, but I use this all the time. It doesn't cost anything, and it's just a habit.
Okay, and Carol Lawrence was saying, I have a love-hate relationship with pinwheels. Do you think yours come out so pretty because of the starch?
I think they come out pretty because of several things. A starch, number 1. Number 2, sorry, my throat hurts. Number 2, when I'm stitching them, I do stitch very carefully on that dotted line. Now I go fast, but I've been doing it a long time. So accuracy on stitching on that dotted line, and then accuracy when you're cutting this out, that you don't cut too big or too small. And then pressing, I feel like when I set my seam and then press, and when I'm pressing, you'll notice I don't rock my iron, I just set my seam and press. And I've been quilting a very long time. So, if you're a beginner and you think, oh, this 1 inch, this is too much, you can do any size triangle paper. You can have fun. This is just a fun little project that I thought we could use to use up our scraps, because that's so many of you guys asked that question. And so I'm always trying to come up with ways to answer your questions. So if you wanted to start with a bigger size, you could. You can have freedom. You can do whatever you want.
And then Sean Wright was also asking, does the paper help keep the pinwheels from getting wonky?
So what the paper does is it saves you time in terms of, if you were going to make this the traditional way, you would have to cut it, draw your lines, stitch on your lines, come back and cut and press. But here you can make 4 at one time and you don't have to draw any lines. So it's a very small expense. I only make triangle paper. I only make half square triangles with triangle paper. I love triangles on a roll product. I always have. Always been using it ever since I've been quilting, or ever since it's been around, ever since I've had it. But it makes it where you can make literally all of these in like an hour and a half. I literally threw this together, I think 2 or 3 days before Christmas. We've had the idea for a long time, but I did procrastinate. So I had to really get this done fast. And I think that I love the beauty of the 1 inch, is why I picked the 1 inch, just because it's really small, and I do make a lot of quilts. So at the end of the year, I didn't want to do a 2 inch, because at the end of the year my quilt would be way too big, because I use so many fabrics and I have so many fabrics at the end of a project. My quilt would be like 2 quilts. So I thought the 1 inch would be better.
And lots of people want to know, what are those pictures hanging above the ironing board?
Okay, Lily or Kate will link that below. They are, don't remember the company name, I'm really sorry. I bought them for myself as a gift. I'm not affiliated with the company at all. They're hand painted, and then they're antiqued on the edge. And these are these are Camille Ross Kelly blocks. I think it's called Red Boot Company something. They'll link it below. I don't know the exact answer, but I bought those for myself, and I love them. But I'm not affiliated with them in any way.
And concerned with the sewing, some people are wondering what model your Juki is.
2010Q.
And then Annie Jen is asking if triangles on a roll can be used for the barn blocks.
Yes, I use triangles on a roll for everything. Lily, will you hand me the bucket?
Bucket.
Right there. No, the other one. Yeah. This is actually not organized very good right now, just because they're not organized. But the way I have this bucket, I know y'all are gonna ask where to get it. Got it at Home Goods. So I have 1 inch finished and 1.5 inch finished here, 2 inch, 2.5, 3 inch, 3.5, 4 inch, 4.5, 5 inch, and 6 inch. That's all just in my mind, so I didn't have to label it. Hand me that bucket. And then this little bucket, also from Home Goods. Maybe I should work for Home Goods. I buy everything at Home Goods. These are extras that don't fit in here because I have run out of space. So when you're doing the barn blocks, I just look at it and I say, okay, that is 2 7/8. What size finished is that? I can explain all that in 1 second. And I figure out what that is, figure out the paper. If the pattern says 2 7/8, to find out your finished size, you take your cut size, you subtract 7/8. So 2 7/8 minus 7/8 is 2 inch finish. So that would be this paper, 2 inch. And I will, even though I've been doing this a long time, look, and I'll be like, oh yeah, this is 2 7/8, I've got the right paper. So I use, anytime I make any quilt, when I made the barn quilt, I just figure it out in my head, because I can't write all of my patterns with triangle paper, because a lot of people don't like this method, or they don't want to buy the paper, which is totally fine. You should do it your own way. But I use triangle paper for everything, and I literally have to buy a couple rolls a year, maybe 4 or 5, but because I keep them organized, and obviously, like your bigger, I have some extra 2.5 in the back, just because I use that size a lot. And some extra 2 inch that hasn't been opened. But it's not really expensive once you get going. I mean, if you have to buy all of them, yeah, that is expensive. But you know, maybe start with the most popular sizes that you think you're going to use. See if you like it. You know, try the triangle paper. Buy 1 roll. See if you like it. If you don't like it, don't do it. You can do it the traditional way. I just anything I do when I'm quilting, first you should always do what you enjoy. Like Quincy Jones said, like, if you find your passion, I'm not saying this exactly, but this is the whole concept of it. You never work another day in your life if you do what you love. So when you're quilting, if you like triangle paper, do it. If you like traditional, do it. Do whatever you like. So that's kind of what I do. I love triangle paper. I like my little method of OCD-ness where everything is like super organized, because when I'm doing a project, I can just grab and get it.
Also, we have a new member.
Yay! Thank you.
And for those of you wondering how to become a member, we have a video about that as well as a blog post.
So yeah, YouTube membership is, I do some special videos for them, and we give them special coupons. Like yesterday, we're gonna do a blooper. We did a blooper. Lily did a blooper reel. And we posted it to the YouTube members yesterday. I think there was like a glitch in it uploading with YouTube, so apologies to that, YouTube. It was just glitching on YouTube's end. But it's there, and so they're gonna get it a couple days early. Everyone who doesn't want to pay, thank you so much for watching. I love you guys just as much. The YouTube members just help us buy some of the equipment we use. If you saw all of this mic'd up, it doesn't come free. And I obviously don't get paid. I don't get paid to do this live stream. I'm not Kelly Ripa. I don't get paid by ABC to stand here and talk to you guys. I just do it because I love it. I love what I do. The YouTube membership just helps us buy the equipment. So if you want to do that, great. If you don't have to.
Yeah. And then Teresa said in regards to the YouTube membership, she says it's really fun and she loved the blooper reel.
Oh yeah, the blooper reel is really funny. Lily sends me all of the videos when she edits them. If I'm super busy, I won't watch them. But on the blooper reel, I could not stop watching. I was laughing, and there's a really funny part in the video. I'll tell you my favorite part. So Sammy has worked for us for 9 years. The funny story about Sammy is there used to be a hamburger place in Buda, which is where our office is. It was like one of the only places to eat 9 years ago. I would go there every day for lunch, and there was this guy, I didn't know his name. It's Sammy, obviously I found out, but he was so nice, he was so polite. One day I go there, they're out of business. I'm like, what? And I thought, oh my gosh, that guy was so nice. I need to give him a job. He's awesome, I need to find him. So I went in to all the people who cut, and I said, does anybody know this guy who worked at Culver's? This is, he's about this height, he's got black hair, he's Hispanic, he's super nice, I think he's about this age. I described him, I said, anybody who can find this guy, you're gonna get a $100 bonus or something. I don't even know. It's been 9 years. Somebody found him. He's worked for us for 9 years. So anyway, in the video, and I love Sammy because he's funny and he understands me. In the video, I pick up my phone and Cody says, what are you doing? Why is your phone on? And I'm like, it's Sammy. And I pick up the phone and I'm like, Sammy, tell them to be quiet. Because basically in the warehouse, like if they're being too loud, it keeps coming. Like you can hear it in the video and then I have to redo it. Anyway, I thought it was funny.
Yeah. And everyone else will get the blooper.
Yes.
This is coming out next week.
Yes, and everyone else will, yes.
Okay. We've got a lot of questions coming in. I don't know if I want to answer them now or after.
So let's keep going. I'm going to show you some other things that we have coming up, and then we'll do questions at the end. So, on this, Riley Blake has a new Tablerunner club coming out, and I wanted to show you guys how the Tablerunners look. Some customers really like to get a package in the mail every month, like a block for the month, and they want to make a big quilt. Some people want smaller projects. So Riley Blake put this together. It is going to go from March 2019 to February 2020, or around that. They're all themed, like seasonal. In the Tablerunner, there's fabric for the top and binding and the pattern, and they're packaged, I don't have a prototype, in a colored box. There's going to be 4 different colored boxes, and the band that goes around the box will tell you what's inside. But at the end, when you're done, it's a great way to store your notions. So they measure anywhere from 18 to 21 inches wide and 45 to 54 inches long, 4 to 5 inches long. So you'll get a kind of a synopsis of how they look. And thank you to my daughter Emma who put them in order. So this is March 2019. It's called May Banners. And this uses just a lot of their basics. And I see some Lori Holt fabric in there. This one is April. It's called Sweet Summer. This is little watermelons.
Oh, it's really cute.
Yeah, and I think this is great, especially for the people who have signed up. They can see, what they're going to get. May, it's going to be Stars and Stripes. The quilting on this is super cute if you can see the stars and stripes. June is called Family Campout. This is so cute. I would be so scared to do these the little pennants. June. Oh, July is going to be Apple Spice. August is Halloween blockheads. It's cute.
Oh, it's super cute. Can you hold it a little lower, please?
Mm-hmm. And I think this is fun just to look at quilts too. Like even if you're not in the club, it's fun to look at quilts, I think. Mm-hmm. This one is September. It is called Give Thanks. Can you hand me my tea, please?
Oh, yeah.
This is cute. Whoever quilted these did a great job. Sorry, thanks. This is so cute. October, pretty packages. If you can see the back of the custom quilting that's done, I don't know who did it. Whoever did it did a great job. These were made by Riley Blake, but you can see they did a really great, nice custom job on all of these. So shout out to whoever you are. This one's super cute too. November, Wintertime Friends. And so they're themed, but they come out a little bit earlier than the season that they go with, so you have time to make them. This is December, called Love Notes. January, Feeling Lucky. And the rabbits. February, Springtime Bunnies. And this would be super cute if you could add some like buttons, maybe some Lori Holt buttons for the eyes on some of these. So that is our new club, and we are going to, January 31st is our cutoff date on ordering these. Basically, the way Riley Blake is making these is it's a one-time purchase. Hold on. Sorry. I'm gonna get through this. I'm just like out of breath. So it's a one-time purchase. So as a shop, and if you're any other shop, everyone's deadline is January 31st. So we have to give our order by then, and so we're gonna give our number, and then once it's out, it's out. We can't keep adding to it. So if this is something you're interested in, you would want to get your order in to me by January 31st, because after that I can't up my order. And then I wanted to show you, this is called Geese on the Meadow. It is in our kit, we're given over 19 yards to make this. It's 66 inches square. It's designed by Kim Deal, who also is the designer of the fabric. She has lots of martingale books. She's a very popular fabric designer for Henry Glass. And she also made the Simple Whatnots 8 Club, which I showed 2 weeks ago. So this is that quilt live and in person. And you can tell, like, this is, it's beautiful. I love the difficulty level, the intricacy, the challenge. You know, this is something that you can't just whip up. So I think that this is great. Oops, there went my papers. So I just want to show you guys this. We got this in. so that we could photograph it for our site. And it's really pretty, so we've got that. And then I just wanted to tell you guys about, we have lots of giveaways going on. This Threadology, we're having a countdown to Threadology. All the information is on our blog. Our fabric requirements for this go up January 14th. If you reserve this kit or backing, they will be shipping probably next week. We're currently packaging them. We're doing a giveaway for gift cards. Check out all our details on how to enter on that. So we're doing like a countdown. And of course, if you want to make this, you can make it in any fabric. You don't have to buy the kit from us. It's a free pattern that we're going to be releasing. All the details and the dates are on our blog. But what we're asking for is a donation to Make-A-Wish so that we can reach our $20,000 goal. So all the links on that are below. Even if you're not sewing along, we would love a little donation. Even $5 would be great. We also have a New Year's resolution post, which is great. It's awesome. It looks great. It's got a lot of New Year's resolutions from some of our designers. And you can leave a comment and you can enter to win that way. So we've got lots of giveaways going on right now. I'm going to sit down, Lily, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I am so sorry. So yeah, that's what I got today. I have a lot of stuff. Next week, I'm going to be showing some more quilts and some more stuff. So I have a lot on the works, and I'll just answer questions.
Perfect. Okay. Lots of people, including someone's 7-year-old grandson, is asking, where do they get the shirt you're wearing?
At Fat Quarter Shop. Just search Eat, Sleep, Quilt, Repeat. And it is an older shirt. It is designed by Lori Holt. Some of the sizes are now sold out.
And Lisa Sweets, who is one of our YouTube members, very much would like to know who won all the thread.
The thread giveaways were posted on our blog. I was going to go over those today, but I was like, I don't know, I have like the cough. So I was trying to limit, because we had more content, and I had to limit it just because of my cough. So we posted those. They've all been contacted, and they're on the blog if you want to see the names.
And then Julie Taylor, also a member, is saying, do you have a kit for the bread and butter quilt you showed last
Yes, it's a bread and butter. It is, it's a block of the month. So if you search cream and sugar, it's going to come out as a block of the month. Also, if you want to make it in your own fabrics, it's also going to be a book, and it's Sew in My book that we publish. So you can just get the book if you don't want to buy all that fabric.
Oh, and then this is going back to the Sew Sampler. Linda Gillespie had just made a comment that the tweezers are in her makeup box because they actually make amazing tweezers for like your face.
Oh, don't even tell me that. I will use them. I use tweezers all the time. It's horrible.
Oh.
All the time.
Artwork. And then Julie C wants to know, Kimberly, any information on the birch fabric? She's also a YouTube member.
Okay, so on that, I think I'm confused. That fabric is actually an older, it's not birch. It's a different, I don't know what collection it is, but it's rifle paper. It's an older collection from Rifle Paper. I just need the SKU numbers. If somebody emails me the SKU numbers, I can check with Rifle Paper, Cotton and Steel, RGR, to see if they have it in stock. So if somebody can just email me that info. I'm sorry that I haven't been on top of that. I have been just doing good to get through the week. But yeah, if some of you guys, so basically the backstory is there's a older Rifle Paper fabric that comes in canvas that people are wanting. If somebody can just find that SKU for me, I can check with them. They do discontinue their canvases quicker than their cottons, but I can check to see, and if I can get it, I'll get it. But I don't think it's called birch. I think it's called something else.
Shannon Roberts was saying, I was looking at the box subscription. How long will the barn cards be included, and will a new quilt pattern start after that quilt's complete, or will it circle back?
Yeah, so the last quilt, and I could be a little bit off, but I'm going to be generally in the area. That barn block ends in March 2019, and then in April 2019 we have a whole new one, and it is amazing, and it was designed by an outside designer. I don't want to give away the information yet because I think it's a surprise for all of our members, but the quilt is amazing. It's going to be totally different than anything we've done. It's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, and the reason it's in March and
yes.
in April is because So Sampler
began
started in April, so it's like So Sampler New Year in April.
Yeah, so we started So Sampler program in April 2 years ago, or almost 2 years ago. And so when we started it, the barn blocks were originally recipe cards, and it might be the third year we're on. That's how out of it I am. Yeah, we're going on our third year. So the first year we had something I designed. The second year we had something Lori Holt designed. And then the next year we had something that Jocelyn designed. So, and then the next year we have, my hint will be it's a Moda designer, and it's amazing. And I think it's going to appeal. We really listen to you guys. But anyway, those were really just meant to be freebies in the pattern. And then they became popular, and we got so many emails on, do you have a kit? I want to make this. I want to sew this. So then it was like, okay, well, we need to make this kittable. So that if people want to have a kit, it makes it convenient for them, which we hadn't really thought out. And it's really just, it was meant originally just to be a freebie, but then people really liked it, and so we've just made it more and more complicated. But next year's is going to be, we had a lot of feedback on what people are really wanting in those surveys, and we really took all of that. And I apologize for my kids. They are in there playing wrestling. I can hear WWE, so apologize for Christopher right out there.
And then we had a question on Instagram earlier asking if Threadology was beginner friendly.
Oh, it is very beginner friendly. I think it's beginner friendly. I made this quilt, I think, in 2 days. I was under the gun to make it, but these are very beginner friendly blocks, and we're going to have videos on them. So we're going to have videos. If you have questions, you can comment in the video. We'll answer. But we went back to a video format of more detailed, more instruction, more on the sewing machine, not so fast. So I think it definitely beginner friendly. I do think I'm not trying to sell you the kits because we can sell them, but I do think they're going to sell out by the end of January. I'm actually surprised the backing is already sold out. But the fabric requirements for that will also be posted. We're going to post that on with the fabric requirements for the whole quilt. So if you weren't able to get a backing, you can buy the yardage.
Okay. How much is the monthly subscription for the Tablerunner Club? Do you want me to look that up?
Yeah, I didn't write that down. Sorry.
I believe it's $34.95.
And again, they come packaged in box, and I think the reason that they can't remake the kits or they need my order so early is because of the custom boxes. And this is something that Riley Blake is offering to all the quilt stores. I just think it's cute. I think it's cute way to decorate your house.
It's $34.98 a month plus shipping.
Yeah, $34.98 a month plus shipping for 12 months. And you do have to, that's a program you have to stay in the whole time, because I cannot tell Riley Blake, oh, somebody quit or somebody left, I don't want that anymore. Okay, so then I get all the rest, and then what do I do with them? I can't, so.
And are the runners applique or pieced?
I think there's a little bit of applique. Let me look. They're mostly pieced. There are some pieces of applique. So like the bunny is all pieced. This one has some stems in it. If you didn't want to do stems, I guess you could figure out a way to put a pieced part there. This is pieced. Yeah, mostly pieced. Like this one has wheels that are appliqued, but they basically did raw edge with fusible, so that's very beginner friendly. And this one has some eyes that are appliqued. So I would say a majority pieced, but there is a touch of applique. And of course, like with the eyes on this one, if you didn't want to applique, you could get some buttons from just another button company, or you could get some buttons at Joann's and you could just add buttons. There's always a way to get away from applique. That's a good quote. There's always a way to get away from applique. That would be me. I'm scared of it too, so I'm right there with you.
Dolores on Facebook was asking, will you be able to just buy the patterns for the table runners?
No. I mean, Riley Blake might in the future release them. I doubt it. But it's part of their program. So they, you know, curated the patterns, the fabric. They put all this together for the program.
All right. And then Bonnie says, maybe off topic, but I got Lori Wolf's Vintage Christmas book for Christmas. Will the kits be available for the quilt again?
We are hoping they will be available in February or March. I have a little surprise. Yeah, that's going to be February or March. I'll show you a little peek of something. Let me see if I can. I'm working on this today. So those kits should be February or March. We are just waiting on the fabric from Riley Blake. The two-tone quilts in the book, Lori put them in there just so that the book is not all vintage Christmas. And so we at Fat Quarter Shop have put together a sew-along for our store that we put together. It's going to start in April. Hold on a second. So sorry. It's going to start in April, and you can see in the book there's 8 anyway, so I'm going to start mine today, and these are 2 of the fabrics. I'm going to flash for you like a little snippet of it for like literally 2 seconds. So that's going to be the sew along, but it's something that we colored, we put together. So we're going to do a little sew along, and you can make yours pink or blue or green or yellow. We will have a kit for the blue one, just to make it easy. And then when we start, we will of course say this is how many yards of the solid you would need. This is how many yards of the gingham, and this is how many yards of the dot. So if you want to sew along with your own fabric from your stash. So the point is that I'm going to start sewing this today, and I'm going to test those fabric requirements because we put together all the blocks separately. We have to really test to make sure that, hey, that's enough yardage. But that's going to be something fun from that book also, so that we use that book not just for Christmas.
And Sherry Bing, she just had a funny comment about bread and butter. She said bread and butter, cream and sugar, kind of like my aunt renaming Bed Bath & Beyond to Bed Bath & Breakfast.
Bed Bath & Breakfast. You know what's funny, in New York, when we were leaving to go to the airport, there was a Bed Bath & Beyond in a Home Depot, and I thought, that's weird. Like, who's gonna go to, I mean, I get it, but it was like, oh, there's actually like stuff here that's normal. That's not $1,000.
And Julie C. wanted to know, how many ounces does your cup hold?
I don't know. Kevin got me this for Christmas. It's a bigger one because he thought mine wasn't big enough. I don't know. It holds a Trenta Starbucks. I know that. So whoever told me about Yetis, thank you so much, because I didn't really know about them. And I got one, and then I got a couple more and a couple more. So I've got them all over. I've got them several in the kitchen. I've got several at work, several in the car. So when I'm in the car, I'll like dump my drink in there. I love them.
I think that's 24 ounces or 32.
Okay, 24, 32. Maybe we'll figure it out before next week. It's the bigger one. Okay, so thanks for watching, guys. And I'll see you next week. We've got lots of stuff, and next Wednesday we will be doing we're going to do a cross-stitch series on beginner cross-stitch. Next Wednesday we're going to do just the basics on what are the supplies. The week after we will be doing techniques and tips. But next week for Friday's live stream, I've got lots of quilting stuff in the works, and I will see you guys next Wednesday or next Friday. Have a great weekend.